Local Alert Weather Snow Report, brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Here's a look at your snow report. None of the resorts reported any snow except for Mountain Meadows, only reporting 1 inch. But still, we have Hoodoo and Willamette Pass closed. Well, I know all of those snowboarders and skiers are probably still very bummed with the lack of snow.
I
feel bad to break the news, guys. But also, there was no jackpot winner in Saturday night's Powerball drawing, but that leaves room for a potential New Year's Powerball winner.
According to the Powerball website, the prize has grown to an estimated $810 million. The next drawing is tonight at 8 p.m. So I have a question for all of you. We've talked before about what we would do if we won a lot of money. Today I'm going to ask, what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that lottery winners make?
I think the easiest one to say is they all just blow their money. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the same thing.
Right back to the same position.
Yeah.
I would say quitting your job without any backup plan and just making that impulse decision. It could lead to positive outcomes, but
don't get too excited.
Yeah, most
Careful
times.
with our money.
Hold on to it a little longer.
And also lawyer up. That's a good idea.
All right, we'll be right back after a quick break.
You might not realize it, but if your home's lacking proper insulation, your heating and cooling system could be wasting money. And it's not just older homes either. In 2021, Oregon updated its energy codes, meaning even newer homes may be under-insulated. Call Deschutes Roofing and Insulation for a free inspection and see how they can not only extend the life of your HVAC system, but also lower your bills and save you even more with Energy Trust incentives. Deschutes Roofing and Insulation. Right now, get $100 off any insulation job.
Saxon's rocks 40 years. When it has to be right and special, it has to be Saxon's.
I just came in as clueless as it gets and totally found the perfect ring.
Record your story on video and send it to ktvz.com/Saxons40 to qualify to win an oval diamond ring valued at $6,000. Tell us why. Only Saxons will do.
Nowhere else. Nowhere else.
Got news? You're an important part of our team. Send your tips, photos, and videos to ktvz.com/share to clue us in on the biggest news in Central Oregon. News Channel 21, Central Oregon's news leader.
The free application for federal student aid, known as FAFSA, has been overhauled. The new FAFSA, which is used to determine financial aid eligibility, is now shorter and easier to fill out. Additionally, many low-income borrowers are expected to be eligible for more financial assistance with changes. Although some other applicants, specifically those with siblings also enrolled in college, could see less. Usually the FAFSA is available on October 1st each year, but the overhaul of the form pushed back the release date by 3 months.
The Oregon Court of Appeals has temporarily halted Multnomah County's ban on flavored tobacco products that was set to start on January 1st. Evan Watson tells more about the decision and what it means.
Smokers R Us.
Smokers R Us is a family-owned smoke shop in Northwest Portland. Up until a few days ago, employees and customers alike were preparing for a county-wide ban on flavored tobacco. Jacob Fisher is a shop manager.
It was a huge worry for me. I had no idea where I was going to go, what I was going to do.
Multnomah County Commissioners approved the ban back in 2022, and it was set to take effect January 1st of 2024. But the Oregon Court of Appeals approved a stay, allowing shops like this one to keep selling while litigation continues.
I'm sure we would find something to pivot to, but we would lose such a tremendous amount of money.
While the shop does sell other products, they say it's unlikely they'd be able to stay in business if the ban went into effect, because the majority of their sales are flavored tobacco.
At current, this is about 85 to 90% of our business.
While vape and smoke shops across the county fight for their livelihood, others are in favor of the ban.
Each day of delay leads to more kids being hooked on nicotine.
Michael Cox represents Flavors Hook Oregon Kids, a group of more than 50 organizations from across the state working to enact a ban on flavored tobacco.
We feel that tobacco products flavored like cotton candy shouldn't be sold here in the state of Oregon, that it's too easy for kids under 18 to get their hands on a product.
But Fisher doesn't agree.
I think that is an incredibly unfair argument. Speaking as someone who grew up smoking cigarettes, right? I think, unfortunately, kids are always going to be interested in things that are bad, right? Cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, etc.
Coming up, we'll get a closer look at one organization helping veterans get therapy and hear why more help is needed to continue their work.
At Northwest Quality Roofing, there are certain things we never say. Things such as, it's close enough, it's not my job, and no one will ever know. We understand that integrity is doing what's right, even when no one is looking. That's why we don't just hire incredible craftsmen, we hire outstanding people. Northwest Quality Roofing. Quality is in the name.
When it's cold outside, nothing beats the warmth and relaxation of a new stove, fireplace, or insert from Emerald Hearth Spa and Patio. Wood, gas, or pellet. You'll find the most beautiful and energy-efficient styles available. With quality and service, you'll be comfortable for years to come. Come in now for special winter savings on the area's best styles and selection. And remember, when it comes to stoves and fireplaces, nobody keeps your family warm like Emerald Hearth Spa and Patio in Eugene and Bend.
News Channel 21, Central Oregon's news and weather leader.
You know what's important to you, and we know news and weather.
Trust in our 45-year Central Oregon legacy, we take it seriously.
We're here for you on air, online, on the go, and on your time.
News Channel 21, local news and weather you can depend on.
News Channel 21, your local news and weather leader.
Performing outer space?
Yes, next July.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh, I can't change these plans.
We're stealing in the sun next summer. Heist of a lifetime.
The Olympics.
Come on, you in?
Roman Reigns will defend his title against anyone, anytime. Except next July.
Some powdered baby formula is being pulled from the shelves due to contamination issues. Sunday, the FDA warned consumers of possible bacterial contamination in Reckitt Mead Johnson's Nutramigen hypoallergenic powdered infant formula products. Manufacturers voluntarily recalled more than 675,000 cans of the formula. That was after the formula tested positive for Chronobacter bacteria, which can cause rare but potentially deadly infections in newborns. The FDA says no illnesses have been reported to date. For veterans struggling with mental health, there is hope that a little help from a four-legged friend can make all the difference. Amanda Sansone tells us about the push for volunteers to raise those therapy dogs.
Joe Nieves and his best friend Jem are inseparable.
She knows when I'm having a bad day. She knows when I'm anxious. She's like my co-pilot. That's it.
The retired Army Staff Sergeant struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder and bipolar disorder, exacerbated, he says, by his time in Iraq.
She's a good girl.
Jem is there to help.
If I'm really depressed and I'm having a hard time getting out of bed, she'll come. She'll lay right next to me. Just having that presence has really done a lot for me and my mental health. Good girl.
Nieves says she almost never leaves his side.
But for the most part, she comes with me everywhere. We are like Batman and Robin. Sometimes I get to be Batman.
And like every good hero, Jem too has an origin story.
So this is Jem's puppy book. It was given to me by Miss Wendy Pascal, who was the volunteer puppy raiser who raised Jem.
The pair were brought together by a collaboration between service dog organization Canine Companions and the Penn Fed Credit Union's Foundation as part of an initiative to provide support animals for veterans and others with a disability.
It means a lot to me to know how loved she was.
But the program currently has a 2-year wait list because there aren't enough people like Jem's puppy raiser Wendy. and Andrea McCarran.
I'm the president of the PenFed Foundation and a 6-time puppy raiser. People ask me every day, how can you love, nurture, raise, train a puppy from age 8 weeks to 18 months and then say goodbye? And to be honest, it's brutal. But how can I not? If I don't do it, who will?
The partnered organizations are now looking to corporations to help meet the growing demand for well-trained pups.
They pay the veterinary bills, they provide the food, training supplies. Having a service dog in the office really builds that culture of teamwork. Everyone can work together for something greater than themselves.
She says sharing the responsibility with colleagues and meeting the veterans can ease the heartbreak.
It is hard to say goodbye, but it's better to say hello to the veteran whose life was changed.
Veterans like Nieves, who says Jem makes him feel like a better person.
Yeah, come here. Our shortcomings sometimes get the better of us, and we can get trapped in a space that's unhealthy, and they can literally pull you out of that darkness for a few minutes. It's nice. Let's go.
In Washington, I'm Amanda Sansoni reporting.
Good girl.
Flu activity continued to rise in most parts of the country last week. The CDC's weekly influenza surveillance report shows a 16% jump in people testing positive for influenza. The report also showed the outpatient respiratory illness was above the national baseline for the 8th consecutive week. The CDC said 875 viruses were reported by public health labs, as well as 6 flu-associated pediatric deaths. Now, if you're hoping to be a better version of yourself in the new year, changing unhealthy habits and focusing on new goals are keys to victory. Mandy Gaither has more on how to get into a healthy mindset for 2024.
Say goodbye to unhealthy habits and hello to a new mindset for the new year.
It's very easy to focus on the negatives. It oftentimes takes more work to focus on the positives and things that we're thankful for.
Licensed clinical psychologist Adam Borland with Cleveland Clinic says you can reach healthy goals by shifting how you think about yourself.
We're kinder to ourselves. We're using more encouragement and gratitude. That does go a long way in terms of how we approach those sources of stress and those obstacles in our day-to-day life.
To keep that healthier mindset all year, Borland says to practice gratitude, appreciate the good things rather than focus on the bad, and recognize the role of choice. You choose how to respond to stress.
Are they an opportunity for growth, or do we view them as just simply another headache to deal with?
He says to simplify life by monitoring social media use and focusing on self-care, maybe deep breathing or meditation. Prioritize being mindful by doing something that's meaningful to you.
If there's some sort of creative hands-on outlet, whether it's cooking, something creative, some musical outlet, I encourage people to carve out time like that every day.
Finally, be active. It's not only important to physical, but mental health too. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Coming up, as the war between Israel and Hamas continues in Gaza, violence in the West Bank is rising steadily.
And the southern U.S. border has broken records for the number of migrants crossing a border in a single month. Those stories and more when we return.
Sweet.
Glad to see you.
Waiting for the best year-end deal? This is it. During our year-end clearance, save up to 75% off all clearance, outlet, open box, and more. Save $540 on this GE front-load laundry pair, just $15.58 or $130 a month. Plus, get a free frame, free box spring, and free pillows with any qualified mattress. Standard TV and appliance. Best service, best selection, best people.
#21 cares for kids.
With thousands already killed in Gaza in the war between Israel and Hamas, violence in another Palestinian territory is growing more dangerous for the children who live there. Jay Grabe reports.
Families say someone's always watching here. East Jerusalem and the West Bank, a place wrapped in constant fear. For decades, Palestinians, Israeli police, soldiers, and Jewish settlers have fought in and over this land. But never, according to the UN, has it been as violent or deadly as now, especially for children. 124 Palestinian and 6 Israeli children killed, the most ever in a year, 83 in just the last 12 weeks. On the streets of East Jerusalem, kids are quick to show you their scars, badges, not of honor, but survival, they say, from arrests or scuffles with police. Jeanette, like a lot of 15-year-olds, spends afternoons scrolling through social media. Not long after liking a controversial Instagram post, she says Israeli soldiers raided her family's home. She tells us, "They beat me up here and handcuffed me and took me." 13-year-old Malik, a Palestinian American, shares a similar story as he shows us where he says he was shot in the arm by an Israeli soldier. His mother says this cell phone video shows soldiers weeks later coming to take him away.
And I said, what about my child's rights? He's a minor, an underage minor that holds an American citizen passport. And he just looked at me and he said, your son doesn't have rights in Israel.
Malik was released after nearly a week inside Ofer military prison. Back home, he says, there is a constant worry that soldiers will come back and take me away, while his mother fears what Malik and his friends have lost here.
They grow too fast from what they see. Like, you don't feel like that they don't have their own childhood.
Israeli police say Jeanette was violent and resisted arrest, something she denies. Her case is still under review. They haven't shared any information about Malik's case. Pro-Palestinian protesters held rallies in several cities this weekend, including New York City and Washington, D.C. Demonstrators in New York marched down the street in what is called a Shut It Down rally. In Washington, D.C., protesters called for the United States to stop sending aid to Israel to fund its war against Hamas. Meanwhile, in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the conflict in Gaza will take many months to end. Israeli forces carried out strikes against Hamas militants this weekend as airstrikes hit 2 areas in the center of Palestinian enclave.
Authorities at the southern border encountered a record number of migrants in December.
The influx of migrants comes as mayors of so-called sanctuary cities are taking action to slow the flow of migrants coming to them from Texas. Camilla Burnell has more.
A breaking point at the U.S.-Mexico border as preliminary Homeland Security statistics show authorities encountered more than 225,000 migrants so far in December, the highest monthly total recorded in more than 20 years. And from the border to cities all over the U.S. struggling to keep up. Because this welcome comes at a cost.
When you're talking about 10% of the budget to allocate for cities on this, that's unsustainable. When we have every single hotel room in the city full of migrants that have arrived, that's unsustainable.
For months, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has bused thousands of migrants to these cities, led by Democrats, resulting in turmoil and straining resources.
And at one point in the summer, we had 25, 30 buses showing up every single day without any coordination or any notification. He is now sending buses outside of the city of Chicago, in some instances 100 miles away, where people are being dropped off. They're being told that they are in the city of Chicago, literally dropped off in the middle of nowhere. I find that to be inhumane and unconscionable.
Some smaller municipalities have passed ordinances to try to stop the drop-offs, while the mayors of Chicago, Denver, and New York City are asking the federal government for help.
I think much more could be done, and with all of our national leaders, from a decompression strategy to making sure the cost of this is not falling on the laps of everyday taxpayers in our cities.
They are also demanding for coordinated drop-offs with exact times and locations to dedicate the appropriate resources.
What we need is everyone that gets paroled into this country should have the ability to work as soon as they enter. They should have federal dollars to help support them in the cities that they arrive in. And we should have a coordinated national plan for where those folks arrive.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Abbott accused the Democrat mayors of hypocrisy, saying they're now going to extreme lengths to avoid fulfilling their self-declared sanctuary city promises. The statement also said the mayors should call on their party leader to finally do his job and secure the border, something he continues refusing to do. But some activists believe the crisis at the border takes Republicans, Democrats, and all levels of government to solve.
And if the governments are not doing that, then most likely what we'll see is people will be further traumatized and harmed, and likely we will see more people die as a result of the inability of governments to really address the humanitarian needs that asylum seekers have.
Many of the migrants coming from the Mexican side of the border are from Central and South America, as well as the Caribbean, Cuba, and Haiti. Coming up, airline advocates are asking U.S. transportation officials to address issues that they say affect airline cancellations and delays.
Let's take a look at that hourly forecast. We are expecting some fog this morning, but it should turn into a clear and sunny day. We're going to be warming up into the 40s around the afternoon, but we are seeing some chances of rain and snow later in the week. I'll talk about that in the full weather forecast that's coming up next.
Is reducing stress at the top of your resolutions? Start the year stress-free with a new set of tires. Now at Gills Pointest Tire and Auto, it's our buy 3, get 1 free sale on Nokian Tires 1. That's right, buy 3 tires and get 1 free from January 2nd through 20th. Visit Gills Pointest Tire and Auto today to get your free Nokian Tires 1, an all-season tire designed for your peace of mind. Shop or schedule online at GillsPointestTire.com.
No stress with Point S.
When you feel protected under our roof, you're free to enjoy your dreams. Bundle auto, home, and life and save up to 25%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
When you're out and about, News Channel 21 and Deschutes Roofing and Insulation invite you to share your life's pictures with us. Show us what living the Central Oregon lifestyle is all about. We want to see you out boarding, riding, hiking, exploring, wherever life takes you. Snap it, post it, and then share it with News Channel 21, and your photo may get featured on our newscast. Find the Share tab at ktvz.com and share your out and about photos today.
When you feel protected under our roof, you're free to enjoy your dreams. Bundle auto, home, and life and save up to 25%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Now, Central Oregon's local alert weather with Jillian Fortner.
Powerful waves, recent rain, and coastal flood warnings have led to some wild weather conditions for those in California. A high surf warning was replaced with a high surf advisory until 10 o'clock Saturday, and crews in Seal Beach, California responded to flooding due to high surf. Meteorologists predicted likely showers for Saturday with winds up to 20 miles per hour. The Weather Service says that hazardous conditions would persist through Sunday due to debris from storms. People have also been advised to stay off piers, jetties, and rocks during high surf. These big waves we are seeing in Southern California are also referred to as swells. So basically they are generated by these storm systems thousands of miles away coming from the Pacific Ocean. The Los Angeles Weather Service says an event like this hasn't happened in many years. But looking at closer to home, we are expecting some mild conditions to kick off the new year. A ridge is resulting in some low clouds and fog until we reach Tuesday. And then a system is going to be coming in, hopefully should be clearing those foggy conditions. Some parts of Oregon, though, right now are under a dense fog advisory. It was a little bit closer to Eugene and Corvallis, but right now I'm just seeing it up in Pendleton. But also areas such as Central Oregon are not under the advisory, but we still should be alert as we head out on the roads this morning. Let's take a look at our current conditions. The current temperature is 27 degrees. Relative humidity is at 93%. We have some pretty good visibility right now and no winds at the moment here in Bend. So we are dealing with some light winds in the moment, seeing the other areas, seeing winds 5 miles per hour in Redmond and Sisters, Madras, Lapine, seeing some no winds. It is looking like it's going to be like this through the next couple of days. It's not going to really be picking up. But we are going to be seeing some sunny and clear conditions today. But this will be changing tomorrow because we do have a chance of rain and snow. Temperatures will cool slightly towards the end of the weekend and early next week, staying near or slightly below average. And we do have those road conditions. As I mentioned, fog is a concern. But so just keep in mind for visibility reasons, it was a little icy this morning. So, always drive slow and be careful out there on those roads. But the good news is it's going to be warming up, so this isn't going to be a huge issue throughout the day. Things are looking pretty clear, actually. As you can take a look around 11 o'clock, still pretty clear as we're moving through the day. Not seeing any precipitation for the rest of the day, but a low pressure system is going to be coming in on Tuesday, bringing that precipitation. It's going to be mainly in the mountains, but we could be seeing some rain and snow in that region for that day. So that's kind of what we can expect Monday and Tuesday. Current temperatures right now are mainly in the 20s. We're seeing 23 in Sisters, 27 in Bend, Sun River, and other parts of the area. We should be hitting the 40s today, though, throughout the region. We are seeing 41 in Sisters, 46 in Bend, 42 in Sun River. So we are going to be hitting the 40s around lunchtime. Around that time, conditions will also be sunny and clear. But as we move into the night, expect increasing clouds. Then we have our overnight lows. We're going to be dropping into the 20s. We are seeing 24 in Sun River and Sisters. And we're going to see a cool down as we move into the rest of the week. Looks like the warmest day of the week is going to be Monday at 46 degrees. And finally, a look at our 7-day forecast. Sunny and clear conditions on New Year's Day. Expect some cloudy conditions tomorrow with a chance of rain and snow. Some clearing on Thursday, and then more chances for some showers at the end of the week. Cooling down into the 30s by Saturday. That is a look at your local alert weather forecast.
Your local alert weather snow report, brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Here's a look at your snow report. None of the resorts reported new snowfall except for Mount Hood Meadows. 1 more inch added to their base. Hoodoo and Willamette Pass are still not yet open. The mountains could be getting some more snowfall by the middle of the week.